I'm sure you are wondering why your back just does not improve in strength, or more specifically, size. Gentlemen, if that is you, you have clicked on the right video. In today's video, we are going to do a deep dive in which you are going to leave this glorious video with a full understanding of why your back is not growing. And it hasn't grown for years, and it will never grow until you rectify these issues. Man, it's not genetics. Background about me. My name is Paul Green. I'm a former British paratrooper and Special Forces Support Group operator. Over most of my tenure, I have trained some of the most elite men across the military, including those in the RAF, the Royal Marines and the Parachute Regiment and other units international. I have been fortunate enough to work at scale with this elite bubble of performance. Got a lot of experience delivering training to all of these men for various different shenanigans in which they have to do on a day-to-day basis. And it doesn't really make that much of a difference whether they are in these elite job roles or whether they are not and they work as, you know, a business consultant or whatever it might be. They are still typically making these mistakes. I was in the gym the other day and I said to my mate, I was like, 9 out of 10 people in the gym don't get this right. And it's probably more than that. It's probably 99%. Not 9 out of 10, that's 90%. 99%. Anyway, me, now I run something glorious called the Longevity Program, which is a laser-focused strength conditioning service for men over the age of 40 that take part in extreme and adventure sports. Obviously, all the issues that arise from them sports. This program is your support with your extreme endeavours. Cool story, huh? Anyway, the plan for today, 3 bullet points. Shouldn't take long, should it? However, there is a lot of detail to get through today. I reckon this video will take about 20 minutes. Food intake. The number one thing. Training philosophy. Basically the rules in which you need to abide by when you are training. Because we are humans. Emotions run rife. And if you do not have a set of rules to train by, your emotions will take over and you will not train effectively. And then exercise execution. Obviously this video is specific to the back muscles. If that sounds like it'll be useful to you, then I am absolutely over the moon. I'm glad you clicked on the video and I'm glad you are here. Let's get straight into the first point, which is food intake. The main misconception, right, is that food is not that important. Food is fuel, right? And you need to, if you have intentions, bad intentions of building muscle and getting strong, then where you're getting the energy from to perform to a high standard in the gym, because you don't deserve to get given everything for free. So you need to have high performance in the gym, and you need to have high performance with recovery as well. Them two things require you to be very considerate about your food intake, your fuel, your calories. How many calories are you eating in a day? If you are busy 3, 4, 5 hours, are you missing 2 meals? Are you missing thousands of calories? Are you winging it? Are you eating emotionally or are you eating logically? Are you eating enough protein to warrant gaining muscle? Are you eating enough fats to make sure you can think straight, productively and be sharp during the day? These are all the considerations. Trust me, this is the number one thing. This is the number one thing that I see. People that think, it's just genetics. This is the number one thing they are getting wrong. And you will see the results if you get this right. Loads of videos on that previous one, by the way, on my channel. Feel free to treat yourself, where I dig deeper into the specifics of that. Training principles, the rules in which you must train by. Tempo. Tempo is how fast or how slow you perform every rep. And you probably might see people in the gym doing certain reps really slow and thinking, what's he doing that for? You gain the most strength and the most muscle mass on the eccentric portion of the rep. That is when the target muscle is lengthening. That's just statistically proven. You will get a hell of a lot stronger prioritizing that. So with the tempo, how many seconds does it take you to do each rep? You should have the most part of that rep on that lowering phase to ensure your back muscles start actually growing. Make sense? Intensity. To gain muscle and strength, you need to train at a really high intensity, almost close to failure. 90 to 95% intensity. This is the rules. These are the rules, gentlemen. Reps and sets. With that intensity, you can afford to cut down on the amount of sets that you are doing. The science seems to agree that the sweet spot for working sets at this intensity is about 6 to 8. Yeah? And then, so like for example, 1 set, 2 set, 3 set, 4 set. When it gets to about 6, it starts to level out. So then you think, is the extra 2 sets actually worth it? These are all your considerations, gentlemen. Execution. You need to execute the exercises as well as you can, and you need to pride yourself in doing so. The exercises in which you choose need to mainly be exercises which allow you to train at a full range of motion. And when we are talking specifically about the back muscles, they need to be allowing your shoulder blades to come all the way forward and your elbows to come all the way back without any undue stress on any random parts of the body. Remember, it is your back that you are trying to grow stronger and get a hell of a lot more muscle. You don't want your forearms getting tired and stopping your lats from getting a good set at this intensity. They are rules to training. Just nip to the next slide. Right, there is rules, but then there is being a human being. And there is emotions that enter the equation. Every time you think about, right, these are the rules that I need to train by. How do I bring this to an actual session? Okay. Stick to a plan for an extended period of time. And that is boring. Yeah, okay, it's boring. Following a training program is boring. Is it going to work? Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to work a hell of a lot better than it would do if you changed the workout every single week to keep it exciting, to improve your feelings. It's not logical. You will not get better at the things that you are training if you keep changing the plan. Any other endeavour in your life, if you kept changing the plan, you would make no progress. Is this the reason why you are not making progress? Because you cannot stick to the plan? You change the plan based off feelings? Gentlemen, women are really good at managing their emotions. We are fucking shit at it. So just get them out of the equation. Yes, they're going to be there, right? But this is why I'm mentioning this stuff. Log your workouts. When you can see what you lifted previously, last week I did this on a Smith machine back squat. Emotion, I don't feel like doing an extra couple of reps today. Well, you better be aiming to do an extra couple of reps, because the rule is 90-95% intensity, and you can see the data because you are tracking the data, because data does not care about your feelings. You can see what you lifted last week. This week, you will do everything you can to add an extra rep onto that previous weight. These are the rules. Having flexible rep ranges to allow a full expression of intensity. Specifically, I like to program a top set and a back off set, 2 sets per exercise, both 90 and 95% intensity. And the rule I have for my athletes is when they get to 10 reps, they add 10% of the weight onto that movement for the next session. And what that looks like is they will be doing 6s or 7s that next week. Make sense? And then on the back off set, they reduce the weight by 20% and do more reps to ensure that they hit the same intensity. Improving the weight week by week, marginally, or improving the reps that you've done, or improving the technique, or improving your body's ability to recover, all falls into this term here, progressive overload. And that is how you make it happen every week, and that's what I've just explained. Makes sense, geezers. So we're going to get into our first pulling movement, and this video is going to break down horizontal pulling, and it's going to talk about vertical pulling. And these are the 3 words. Making it as simple as possible. You have the stretch, you have the shoulder blades, and you have the elbows. The stretch part of the rep is when your traps fully open up. Shoulder blades either stabilize or they either assist in the initiation of any pulling movement. The elbow position is extremely important because the elbows, the top of the humerus, about here, is where your lats are attached to. These 3 things are the 3 stages of any pulling movement. Let's have a look. We have the stretch, shoulder blades back, and then elbows back, pause. Stretch, shoulder blades back, elbows back, bosh. I'll let this play through. Get off. The reason them 3 phases are important, and the reason shoulder blades is an absolutely fundamental part of any pulling movement, is because if you do not have any awareness of what your shoulder blades are doing, you will never effectively train your traps, and your traps are a very large part of your back. Should have done this video topless and you would have seen muscles popping. So with this, very quickly gain an awareness of what your shoulder blades are doing and the role your traps have to play in these pulling movements. 3 movements: stretch, shoulder blades back, elbows back. Makes sense? So now we go into a vertical pulling movement. The stages stay the same. However, the shoulder blades move in the opposite direction to where the resistance is. Vertical pull. Underhand grasp pull-ups or chin-ups. I'm going to sneeze. It's going to be weird the rest of this video because I need to sneeze and it's not going to let me sneeze. Anyway, vertical pulling movements, I prefer underhand grasp, I prefer chin-ups because I believe there's a little bit more range of motion to get out of underhand grasp chin-up. So it works out a little bit better, essentially. Makes sense, that's why I do it this way. Anyway, the stretch, shoulder blades, initiate, elbows down. Look at my elbow, my ears sink, shoulder blades initiate. The 3 stages are visible to see. Why are the 3 stages important? Because then you are training the traps and the lats. Controlling the eccentric, 1, 2, 3. Makes sense. I'll have another look at this. And I want you to be able to think. The stretch. The eccentric is where I'm getting the most strength gains. Sink down, get the full stretch of the shoulder blades. Lengthen the traps. Elbows down. Control the negative. It's a lot to think about, gentlemen, but it's very complicated when, listen, if your shoulders are the most freely movable joint in the body, Is it no wonder that it's so hard to train the traps and the lats? Because a lot of people don't have the awareness of how to control and stabilize or move their shoulders. But this breaks it down nicely. This simplifies everything. But before that, I'd probably gain some awareness of what the shoulder blades are doing. When they go up, they are working your upper traps. When they go back, they are working your mid traps. When they go forward, they are lengthening your mid traps. And when they are up fucking here, stabilizing, they work your lower traps. But I won't get into that. Just please appreciate that they do have an important role to play in the stabilizing or the movement of your shoulder blades. Now let's go back here. As a rule of thumb, right? If your chest is assisted on any of these movements, absolutely explore movement of the shoulder blades. Full rounding. Absolutely explore that. If your chest is not assisted, then maybe stabilize the shoulder blades and just work elbows back, elbows forward. Does that make sense? Gentlemen, we are finishing a little bit earlier than I expected. The summary: we have covered the importance of food intake. The number one thing men get wrong. I've got bad genetics. You're eating like a child. How the hell can you ever expect to gain muscle? This is transferable. These points, by the way, are transferable to every area of your physical training. Having rules to train by, because emotions will try their hardest to get you to do the easy thing. Your body, your subconscious, your brain, and everything is programmed for safety, comfort. It is. It doesn't want to do the extra rep. It doesn't want to beat what you did last week. It doesn't want to work harder. It doesn't want to make sacrifices. So having the rules to train by will mean when shit hits the fan in the gym, when you've had a long day at work, you go, it doesn't matter if I've had a long day at work. Because you're counteracting that with a rule. You're counteracting that negative emotion about your performance or perceived performance. Every time I do that in the gym, I've had a long day at work. My shoulder feels a little bit sore today. Every time I think that, and I even closely come to the conclusion that I'm going to go a little bit lighter than I did previously, I just go heavier. I just go heavier. Because, and honestly, the results speak for themselves. When you go heavier, when you're feeling sorry for yourself, you will fucking surprise yourself. You will absolutely surprise yourself. Your body is so much more capable than you would ever believe, but it's only capable if your mind goes, fuck it. Your mind will say no every fucking single time. And your body will be like, come on, give me it, come on! We've touched on the importance of doing back movements really well. We've touched on the 3 stages of a back movement. The stretch, the shoulder blades have a hugely important role to play in the stability of the shoulders or the movement of the shoulder blades through these back movements. We've touched on the similarities between a vertical pull and a horizontal pull. Same thing. And just to finish, if in doubt, train like an angry robot. If you are training like a robot, they call weightlifting, I said they, who the fuck is they? Weightlifting is the art of being boring. And you know absolutely it's the boring things that are usually the most beneficial. And absolutely, during the week, there is plenty of time for shenanigans. But when you are in the gym, you are being boring. However, you're also being fucking angry. Makes sense? Gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it cleared a few things up for you on training the back. And I hope even more that some of these points are transferable into other areas of your training. Absolute pleasure. 20 minutes. Thank you for your time, and I will see you tomorrow.